I will be announcing some news for the show, and more importantly, we're going to get into this thing with Imai, and we will also get into Bellinger, Bichette, little Jazz Chisholm talk, and then there's going to be some bridges to Okamoto because that's going to be the next show. But hope everyone had a happy new year. Everyone that's in here, thanks, and will end up joining. Give me a second to get dispersed this through Twitter and my other platforms for a second. So that's what we're doing now, and then I'll explain what's going on behind the scenes. I definitely had some help that will be useful going forward as well, and I do appreciate that. And I think this thing with Bo Bichette's very interesting. I kind of brought this idea up before, like there was attached interest slash show, but now, so that's like now it's more concrete, and we actually do see something here. So, all right, now let me get this going through YouTube and everything. Make sure we're visible on the Julian Gallardi Show playlists and Instagram. I think this hopefully hit TikTok. I still don't know, but we'll figure it out as we go. So that's cool. But let's continue to progress with this. The Astros signing Imai was a little bit surprising, but not completely surprising. Now, I had heard that their 2 years and an option were in play with the Braves, and the Braves did have some interest, but it was really came down to the Astros and the Cubs at the end of this thing. And the thing that's interesting here is that he does take the opt-out deal to bet on himself. I think there was more concerns than what we realized originally. So I do think that that's why the numbers are not as good as like what we thought they might be. But at the same time, I definitely think it was a good value deal for the Astros because they kind of got a little bit of a steal. The AAV is flexible; it goes from like 3 to 53 to like 63. I think it ranges too, depending on what he does. I think Heyman put out some escalators in it that I will definitely make sure to include into this chat. So we will be getting going soon, and I'm looking forward to it. Thanks everyone that's been popping in. I appreciate it. So let's get it going. I mean, it's a new year, it's a new show design, new logo, got some background things going too. And I do have somebody helping me, which I'm about to talk about as well. So that's the next thing on the agenda right now. So I am getting help from a young kid named Jared Goldstein, and he is helping me set up some stuff with the show. And we will have him do some small segments. He will be like in one of the small box areas sometimes, maybe, and we'll be having some discussions here and there. And then, like, he'll be helping me with some stats and whatnot. So, his name is It's Scat Pack, I think, on Twitter. I'm about to double check right now, but just so yeah, it's Scat Pack. There we go. Like Scat, like SKATPAK. So that's like something I'll definitely get into more as we continue with this, and I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see how everything progresses. Now, the Yankees had just about zero interest in Imai, which is very unfortunate because, especially at that type of deal, like that's definitely something you could have made the case that the Yankees should have been all over. So it ranges from basically 17 a year is his low point, and 3 to 53, and then yeah, right around 17. So I think it's like a touch more, but it's close. So when you look at that, you wonder like the opt outs are there because he wants to try to maybe get more money if he pitches well, which is understandable. If he doesn't pitch well, then he has security for 3 years at least, if not two. So that is definitely something that it would is kind of player friendly, obviously. So I mean, that's definitely an interesting perspective of why he may have went for that, and I think it might end up benefiting him because he can end up doing better. Yeah, here we go. Thank you, Jared. Imai can earn an extra 3 million annually for reaching 100 innings pitched, specifically 1 million each for 80, 90, and 100 innings. let me see. So one of my friends said he's trying to write me on Twitter, but that's I will get to him for sure. I'll make sure it comes up, and it is an interesting deal for the Astro. So that's like a definitely they need a starting pitcher. So now they'll have Hunter Brown, they'll have Imai, they'll have Javier. Then they got Burrows. Then I guess McCullers might be the four if he's healthy in theory. So that's an interesting rotation. Doesn't really overly scare me, but it's solid. It has some upside if Javier could return to what he once was. So I'm trying to share this on Instagram too. I'm checking the chat. Let me see if there's anything in the chat. It's not appearing yet, but my friend Johnny on Twitter wants to get a question in, so I'll make sure to answer it. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And I think it'll be very fun and exciting to see what happens with him going forward. So, yep, I think well, I see it on Twitter, but I don't know why it's not working. It should work. Um, okay, but anyway, um, I can definitely take a screenshot of it and put it in here. That would work too. So that's possible. I'm willing to do that also. But I do want to break down some more to see my stuff and some interesting projections and things and reasons and why he might not have gotten the deal that we thought he was going to get. So, I mean, when you look at Murakami, he also got way less than what people thought too. So, how is that going to bode for Okamoto? So, we shall see what happens. Now, I saw the comment. I don't think it's in my note. It's not on this chat, unfortunately, but I will share it. So, here we go. All right, now we're on YouTube. Great. So that's awesome. I'm putting it on. It's on Instagram now. So I mean, it's all out there for people to see. And I definitely want to say thank you again for everyone that supported last year. And I am excited to see what next year brings. With that being said, we have a lot of things to tackle today because it was a very busy day. Heyman mentioned the Yankees were linked with Bo Bichette. Now, I take stock in this because Heyman is not. I mean, Bo is not a Boris guy, so he's not just saying it to stir up the market because Heyman would not just put that out there if it wasn't true about the Yankees and Bichette. So the Yankees have checked in. What does that mean? Does that mean they're not? And Bellinger will know they do have a contract offer out there for Bellinger, and I'm going to break down all this in different layers. And when that's all going to happen, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this discussion progresses and how things go with this Bellinger pursuit and Bichette. And I'll explain the different scenarios of how the Yankees could make Bichette work, even with Jazz Chisholm on the roster. I think there is a way it could work at least for a season. Okay, I see. Hey guys, thanks for the comment. I appreciate it. Okay, I got you. Sick. All right, so Johnny's on YouTube now, and I know he was talking about Bo Bichette before, and we're gonna get deep into Bichette. There's no question about it, and I think it's a great fit for the Yankees if they're actually serious here, because it's a right-handed bat. It's an infielder. I think they need help in the infield. That's not to say I don't believe on. Okay, here we go. Yes. So, my brother Julian Cashman said we're too lefty. We need Bo. Yes, that's a good point. Um, yeah, I don't know about that, but that would be crazy if that actually happened. But anyway, thank you, dude. I appreciate that. The subscriber count's around 460 right now. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting that march to 500 and helping with some of this channel stuff because that's one of the requirements. So that will help. When that happens, only 40 away. So let's hope we hit that early in 2026. That is great. Okay, thank you, bro, and I appreciate that a lot. So now let's get down to business with Imai. Then it'll be like Bichette and kind of like Ballinger, or like Ballinger, Bichette, like either way. But we'll definitely talk about Imai first. So let's get back to this caption here. Okay, here we go. All right, so now we're gonna go behind the scenes with Imai. So here's the story with Imai. What jumps out to me is that they're projecting his FIP to be 2 runs higher than it was in Japan, and they're saying it's going to be around a 4.22. They think his ERA is going to be in the mid 4 range, like a 4.29, opposed to Japan, which was a 1.92 and a 2.01 FIP, so they would have projected for this season. Last year, I think it was. It looks like 2025. He had. Oh, that was its FIP and the ERA. It was 190 basically. And okay, got it. So, like we said, he got the 3 year for $54 million contract. So it technically is 17 a year. So right around right at that, opted each year goes up to 63 with the incentives we mentioned before, with the innings like 80, 90, 100. Each is $1 million. So like we said, they project his decline in the standard numbers and also advanced stats. They think his Ks per nine will decrease 6.2%, and his walk rate will increase 2.3%. And the Crawford boxes in Zanikin Park could also hurt him during the season with a few cheap home runs. So here's his home runs per nine last year were actually very good. It was 0.33. Yamamoto was very good in not giving up homers, and that translated well. But Crawford boxes might make that more difficult. Here's how he did in the MVP last year: 192, sixth in the league, 178 Ks, second in the league. There was a 0.89 whip second, the FIP to 201 second, the home run rate I mentioned second, K percentage first at 27, batting average 172. So I'm trying to see how many innings he pitched last year. It looks like he threw like 163 around. So he put in a very good season in his age, and now he's 27. So his best stat line was probably against the Bay Stars on the 17th of June when he wins a complete game. He goes 2 hits, no one runs, 17 strikeouts, sets the record, 123 pitches. So like Yamamoto, he's willing to let it go. He's comfortable going over 100 if he needs to, and I think that this will be great. Let me see what this said. Thank you, bro. I really do appreciate that. And thanks for reaching out to me earlier. I also appreciate that as well. Okay, so now that's some information on Imai. And now we'll go into more stuff a little bit. I guess he's probably like their third starter right now. I think that's fair to say. So that's cool. Now let's see what they could do here, and how do I think like Imai will help their chances in the West? Yeah, I mean the West is a winnable division. I know the Mariners are definitely the favorite right now, but it's not like the Astros couldn't make a dent there. They definitely need some lefty hitting badly over there. They don't have like any lefty pop besides Jordan Alvarez, so that's something they really got to work on. But for Imai and the Astros, I think it's kind of good for both sides. It could kind of snake bite the Astros if he pitches well next year, then he has to do this all again. Now, I do wonder down the line, not to get too far off base here, but if he pitches well, do the Yankees then decide to get him next year? Because they may want to see if he could do it in the league. That's possible. Now, I don't know. Obviously, that's very far sighted. If he puts together a season like Imanaga did, would he stay in it? Because like Imanaga had a similar deal. It was more money. I think it was like 3 for 75. Then he opts. They release him sort of. Don't pick up an option, but then he gets his $22 million qualifying offer. So it wasn't really a big difference. And we'll see what happens. But Imai said he didn't want to go to any Japanese players on the team. The Astros don't have any. Now, he said he wanted to take down the Dodgers. Now, I'm not sure the Astros are the best shot at doing that, but if the Yankees and Mets aren't interested, there's nothing he could do. The Phillies, I'm not really sure how in. I heard mixed stuff about the Phillies that they have some durability concerns, so I'm not sure how in they were, but I know that they definitely spoke with Imai. I think the Padres might have too. I'm not as sure about that, but I am pretty sure the Padres are in on Okamoto for sure. And a little quick preview before we transition on Okamoto later. I think the top 3 teams are kind of like well out there right now, but I think you got to look at the Padres in there for sure. Pirates, Angels might not do it because I saw something that said he might not be willing to spend that much and win the bidding war, Artie Moreno. So It might not be Angels. It could be. It could maybe be. I'm still gonna say Pirates. I am, but we'll have to see what happens with that. So, do you? I think we're gonna trade Jazz. No, I don't. But there are some stuff we put together on that I will bring up. So, yes, it said that they were fielding calls on him, and also Nico Horner was mentioned in that too. So I think that it's definitely something I guess they're thinking about. So I don't think he actually gets traded still, but I guess you never know. They're, yeah. So I think like it's definitely something that I'm looking to see what happens here with Chisholm. But the fact that like they aren't just like they are fielding them is interesting. Like I don't know if teams have made proposals, but it's not just like it's not just like a call us and let us know type thing. Like I don't know, but so I don't think he will. I don't think it's advisable to really trade him, but it's definitely an interesting situation that's brewing there. Now, I guess I could just go through the infield scenarios and like Bichette and kinds of how I think how he could fit into this picture if they were gonna actually go down this route. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. It's to start the year. It's actually very easy because Volpe is hurt, obviously. So Bichette can play around 2 months as shortstop if it takes Volpe until June to return. That solves your issue for the first 2 months of the season. Now, is that a band aid? Is it sustainable after that? Like that might be the problem, but I'll explain how I think it could go. Well, first of all, it depends on how Volpe looks when he returns, obviously. So I definitely think that's something noteworthy to look for. But that can solve it for 2 months, even if Chisholm is on the team. Now, would it be more likely to trade Chisholm if Bo Bichette was on the team? Obviously. And I think it's more of a situation where maybe you would have them together for a year and then you let Jazz walk in free agency because you signed Bichette. Like, you're probably not going to tie up the middle infield with that much money, especially because Volpe's still on this deal. You still have Lombard and Dax Kobe, who's a little bit further away, but so far early indications are very good on Dax Kobe. So I think it's like a situation that you could play with both of them. Now let's paint the picture that Volpe's back and he's playing better. Then at that point you can get Jazz or Bo reps at third, and then you could interchange them at third and second. Because Bichette showed he could play second in the World Series. I think he could also play third. That one might be a little more questionable, but I feel like he obviously is not a good shortstop. So, are we going to extend him? Right now I don't think so, dude. I think it's looking like a very free agency situation. Like, especially if they get Bichette, he's not going to extend. And now, how serious do I think the Bichette is? Like, is it actually a possibility? Like, I'm not fully there yet, but it's definitely an option, and it's a good option because that would actually change the dynamic with the Yankees. Now, if you do Bichette, then you have a leadoff hitter. You have a righty bat. You have a guy that makes contact. You have a guy that hits for average. One of the few guys that hit 300 last year. He knows his division. He hit a huge home run in the World Series. He checks a million boxes for the Yankees, even if his defense isn't the best. So I think he could be a serviceable second baseman, maybe even better than we think. So here's how I would do it when, let's say Volpe's playing well, and then McMahon can sit against lefties, and then you can have Bo Bichette play third against lefties or something like that. And if you want to give Jazz a day against lefties, then you could have Rosario play second. Like that's definitely something that's possible. Or you could interchange that. You do Rosario with third, Bo at second, and then Jazz sitting. No, that's one way to do it. And if you want to do it against righties, that might get more challenging, but you probably would want Jazz in there against a righty. So at that point, do you sit Volpe maybe? You probably want McMahon against a righty. I mean, is there a possibility that no, never mind, because McMahon's a good third baseman. Never mind. So that would be the challenge, but I think there is a way you can make it work. Also, Bo Bichette did get hurt last year, so it might not be the worst idea in the world to keep him fresh because he was going to the World Series and he was hurt and he couldn't run well, and that's part of the reason why the Blue Jays didn't win the World Series, unfortunately. Okay, that's the main thing, Julian. We take Bo from the Blue Jays, but the main thing we take Bo from the Blue Jays, but he makes contact. Yeah, both those things would be great. Now, if the Blue Jays also wanted to get involved with Tucker, then like, how would you feel about that? If Tucker goes to Toronto, they probably do improve. I mean, it would be close. He's better than Bichette, so they would improve. But the Yankees will get so much better with Bichette in the fold. At that point, I'm okay with letting Bellinger go. You could sign Hayes if you want some safety in the infield and, I mean, outfield, sorry. And then you could also take a look at some other guys too at that point. So, and then maybe you ride Spencer Jones and Dominguez in that scenario, and you have Bichette, you have a full infield, and also someone's probably going to get hurt. There's injuries all the time. Like, these things work themselves out. And Chisholm also gets hurt a decent amount, so having Bichette there as a safety net would be great. And I definitely think it's something they should pursue. Now, I'll I will get to this Okamoto thing next, I promise. That's why I put it up there. So I'm going to go through Bichette. And since you asked, I will go through Okamoto and then Ballinger and or whatever. So let's go through some Bichette projections and how he's done. So there's his market range is pretty wide. There's been 5 for 150 floated around, which I think is a better deal to sign with him than it is with Cody Bellinger. If you're going to give me two players together and you're going to give the same contract, Bichette's younger, one. I think he's, what, 27 or 28? I'll double check right now. But Bellinger's like 30, 31. So yeah, Bichette's 27. So, I mean, it would be fantastic. I just think it would be a good addition, especially to take him away from the Blue Jays, because even if they do get Tucker, they will feel the loss of Bichette. But you know what? They made the World Series without him, and their defense was very good without him. So, they probably think they don't have to overpay for him. But do I think the most likely outcome is him returning? Still, I mean, probably, but I don't know because there's been mixed views on if they would get Tucker and Bichette, and I think it's more likely that Tucker goes to Toronto than anywhere else. So that is kind of where I'm sitting with that for now. But let's um let's go to like this other projection thing, kind of. So one ranges from 8 to 186. I don't think that's going to happen at this point in the game, probably. 8 for 212. But and then Jeff Passan on Threads, and I do recommend following him on Threads. It's like the second form of Instagram, kind of. He was saying that he thinks there's a shot if the market craters for Bellinger, Tucker, Bichette, or Bregman, that they could do the Imai route, like a few year deals with opt outs everywhere. But I don't think Bellinger's going to do that. One, because he has already done that. He wants a full deal, so I don't think that happens with Bellinger. Yeah, could the Yankees land Belly and Bo? Um, I mean, they could. I don't know if I would expect them to, but like, honestly, they should. They're the Yankees, but I don't know if they're going to want to pay for both players. But like I said, the minute you sign one of these players, they're over the luxury tax. So at that point, you might as well just go higher. Now, I won't say it's completely no, but it seems like they're definitely more interested in Bellinger. But that would be an off season that you would be happy with if they got both, and that would definitely help. Yeah, I feel like that's more realistic. Yeah, if they trade Jazz, that actually might line up. I can't see both if Jazz is still on the team. Probably that probably is a pretty good point, honestly. So shout out to Kevin Dennis on Twitter. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it, and thank you again. Like, I enjoy the interactions and everything, and it's been a fun little show so far. Also, there was something else reported that I will share as well. Um, Here we go. This is from Bill Madden, and now I will show the new background and everything too. And Madden was on the Soto news last year, so he does know some stuff, and I know he hasn't really delivered much good news for Yankees fans lately. But he okay, here we go. This will make some people excited depending on how it's interpreted, I guess. And I will take some stock into this. I do trust this guy. So now I'm gonna upload the image on on here. And we'll get to, of course, man, Happy New Year. Love your content. Great work, brother. Thank you. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I'll share that with you. I'll share it on the screen when I get this screenshot up that's going to go. All right. Nope. Let's go. All right, here we go. Thank you, bro. I really do appreciate that. All right, I'm going to switch this up and then I'm going to get the background in there. So it was there before. It disappeared, unfortunately, but I will get it back. This will do it. Two, three, one, and here we go. Okay, so that's my little background. So Bill Madden said that the Yankees will second line starting pitching is a very low priority for the Yankees and certainly not for that kinds of money. That was his response to them losing out on Imai. So I also think it's still possible they trade for a starting pitcher, by the way. I definitely think that's a possibility. Now, now the last part is what might get people excited maybe. Stay patient, Yankee fans are going to spend their money on their top priority, a bat. Now, does that mean just Bellinger? Because I don't think that would get people that excited. But if that somehow meant Bichette, then I think people would be more excited probably. And I think like for me, I think it would be a better fit for Bichette because he's younger, he projects better, and I'm about to get to that too of like stats and a few other things that they're projecting on Steamer. Okay. Wouldn't the Hayes Bichette combo match in need of righty bats plan? Isn't Bellinger the exact opposite of that? Yeah, he is. Um, that's the thing. I think they like his versatility on defense, and he played well. And Judge likes him, and like they probably do want to keep some steadiness out there. It definitely is a contradictory statement. I do agree, but I think they also said they would that wouldn't stop them from bringing back Bellinger. So I get how it's contradictory. I do. Now, a Hayes and Bichette combo kinds of balances things out better in theory. So, not even in theory, it would. So, I just wouldn't give Belly a 6 or 7 year deal. He's inconsistent. So, yeah, that's why. Okay. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I wouldn't want to give him 6 or 7 either. His career's been too much of a roller coaster, and I'll get there more. So, I would go four for an option for five. That's what I would do with Bellinger. That's exactly what I would do. Because I feel like he's definitely looking for more than three. I think he wants at least, well, I know he wants at least 6 to 7. Probably won't get it. But I do think like a four where an option could be a sweet spot. I don't know what was offered. So I'm still not sure. It's unclear. And now we'll get into more of that as well. So with Bellinger, yes, Heyman said that they did make an offer to him. They aren't. They're putting the money where the mouth is, and they're actually trying to get him back. You know, Bellinger's playing his game of chicken. I mean, Boris is playing his game of chicken with the other teams, trying to make Belly for more worth than what he actually is. Specifics are unknown, like we said, but we do know there's an offer there. In the outfield in 2025, he had 12 DRS, 6 OA, and 9 FRV. And then his advanced defensive metrics at first in 23 were 4 DRS, one OA, and then one FRV. Bellinger has proven that he's one of the most valuable and flexible defenders in the sport, and he's an outfielder first base. He'll play defense at a high level, which is a big reason why Boris is asking for this type of money, that he wants to beat Schwarber and he wants to beat Alonso. So, yeah, I will get to these other questions too. So, will the lockout loom between the Yankees should pounce in this free agent class, especially since the free agent market in the years to come is incredibly thin? Yes, I do, which is why I'm kind of surprised by the lack of activity. I do think they should be more active, but I mean, look, they still might. They have time. Like they haven't lost the big targets yet. In theory, they're all out there technically. So I don't know. I mean, but that's what they should do. Yes, because the free agent class, to your point, I think it's led by like Seiya Suzuki and like maybe I forgot who the best pitcher would be. Oh, Scooble, obviously, but after him it's like a draw, and then Freddie Peralta. Those are good, but like after that it's a little bit rough. So I do like that question. I do. So now let me get back to like more of my like comparison points with Bichette and Ballinger. But yeah, so that's what Bill is saying. He says they're gonna get a big bat. So we'll see. We will see. But he does kind of time things up well. So I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe we hear some news tomorrow on Bellinger or something. Is the Bichette just a leverage play against Bellinger? I don't know, because Heyman is like under Boris basically, so he would not put that out there to make Boris look bad. So that means that it's definitely considerate and sincere, like I said, and he wants the credibility and the connect. Like if he ends up getting it right, obviously, which he might. I mean, you never know. I don't think it's likely still, but if they trade Jazz, then yes, they probably would sign Bichette. I would imagine. Now, you could argue if that makes him better or not. It kind of changes the dynamics more. It gives you less speed, but more contact and less power, but and probably not as good a defense. But I'm not sure how different it would look, but we got to see. So Bellinger also has had a roller coaster career. Like, yes, he has the MVP, but those days are behind him. He wasn't good in 2024. He was great last year. He was solid in 23. Wasn't good in 22 when he got non-tendered. So he's been a roller coaster. Now, Yankee Stadium fits him better than any other ballpark. There's no question. And I'll actually bring up the Savant things as well. Here's what Bellinger's projected to do in 2026 via Steamer. 267 average, 331 on base, 451 OPS. So 451 slug. OPS would be right around 782. F4 2.7, 22 home runs, 81 RBIs, and then 116 WCR plus. So that is definitely solid. Is that worth 30 million a year? I don't know. If you look at one WAR, I think it's worth like 8 to 12 million, so it's close. And last year Bellinger had like a 5-1 WAR, I think, or B WAR at least. So I'll check Fangraphs right now actually. But I just don't see it aging well if you go beyond 5 years. Even that 4 to 5 is kind of risky. I mean, Belly is 30; he'll be 31 next year, so the age is still there. It's just like the other thing that I've expressed that I'm concerns about with him is that he doesn't hit the ball that hard, really, and it's hard to rely on like Babbitt. Although his Babbitt wasn't like that crazy last year, it was basically the same as batting average, I guess. Well, actually, that is kind of nuts, but I do think like it's gonna be tough to see like him replicate what he did last year every single season, like those projections show. Now, could that be different? Of course. Like maybe he does do it again. Does he take a step back a year or two? Do they start pitching him differently in Yankee Stadium? Like you got to see. I mean, and he didn't look good in the playoffs, so he hasn't always been the best postseason performer either. So that's nothing new. Unfortunately, that's exclusive to him. So he had a 4.9 F4 last year. And I want to go to Savant, see if I can pull up the chart of the home runs. Because I want to see how he would play at the other stadiums for his career and how big a difference Yankee Stadium makes. I want to see if it's as real as we think it is. I think it's probably pretty big, but let's see if that matches up. I think I have some more chat questions too. Let's see. Okay. Do I think do you think if Tamai deal is just a 1 year prove it deal? Do you think if Tanai Mai is just only? I'm excited as an Astros fan, but I know if he is good, he's opt up to 1 season. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Like I think he definitely will if he pitches well because he'll definitely earn more than I think his max is what like 21 million a year. Like he'll get 25 to 30 a year if he pitches well. So yeah, I mean I understand you should be nervous because he probably would opt out. But hey, if he has a good season, that might help them make the playoffs or something, and then you deal with the negotiation when you deal with the negotiation. So I think that could be a good problem to have. But I know you probably would have wanted the 3 years without the options, which I get, and I'm sure like it would have been more sure. But we'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting. You never know how these things can turn out. In a perfect situation, Yankees sign Bo and Bellinger, trade for a starting pitcher. Just won't happen. I'll gamble 1 year with Bo and Jazz of the middle. Yeah, this would be ideal. I just like we said before, I'd see it tough to envision Bellinger, Bichette, and Jazz all being on the same team. Maybe they do it and they surprise us, but I think it probably. I would be willing to have Bo and Jazz for a year together. Like I said, I think it would be fine. I think they would figure it out, and I think it would make the lineup pretty dynamic actually, because those are two different skill sets. Now, Bellinger, like I said, you could go that Hayes route if you do this and don't bring Bellinger back. I'm fine with doing that too. And then you give Dominguez a better chance because instead of Bellinger, it's just Hayes, and then he'll get to play more. And then Spencer Jones probably gets more opportunities as well, so that could be good. But then you can't trade them for the starting pitcher you're asking for. You'd have to deal from your pitching depth, which you probably don't really want to because it's not that high right now. But there are a few good names out there that could get you value, obviously. But like I don't know if they really want to dip in their pitching pool right now, but we'll see. I mean, the offseason still has like 6 weeks till spring training around. Actually, maybe a little less now, but yeah. So let me answer the question about Okamoto really quick. Let me put it back up. Okay, here we go. Any new Okamoto updates? Still Pirates as your prediction? Yes, I'll conservatively say Pirates, but I'm going to caution you here. These both deals have been so weird. Like I don't really know to be honest with you. Like I'm gonna guess it's Pirates still. These markets have both been way undersold, way undervalued. I'm gonna definitely do a lot more on Okamoto whenever the decision's made. Like I said, I think it's a good investment for like a 4 for 60 or a 5 for 70 or a 75. I think he's a safer pick than Murakami. I think he's also got better size than a guy like Imai. You know, it's hitting the pitching. But the reason why Imai probably didn't get the deal he wanted to because he's only like 155 pounds apparently, and that might not work in the MLB. I don't know, but Okamoto for Pirates, I'll safely say. Padres are in there. I think I've heard some stuff about Red Sox. I don't really know how serious they are. Phillies, I'm not sure about that. I think there's a lot of situations that he can end up in, but I still say the Pirates are. Imai can earn that Bellinger would have hit less home runs in the 19 to 30 parks last year. Okay, that is worth noting, I would say. Thank you for that, Jared. Yeah, I could try to show it to see like how it all looks. I did this for Wilson Contreras. Okay, we're getting there. Yeah, you're right. And for his career, he actually, this is interesting to me. He's not as much of a Yankee Stadium merchant as you would think. He actually plays his best ball at Dodger Stadium, which I guess isn't surprising because that was his best years, but they project him he would have the most home runs if he actually stayed in LA at 243. If he was a Yankee, they say only 221, actually 14 less than his whole career, which I find interesting. So 2023, he would have hit one less than Yankee Stadium. Interesting. 24, he would have hit six more. And this year, he would have hit 33 more if he played three more if he would have played all his home games there. So yeah, I think it's a cool thing. I like looking at this to see what would happen. So yeah, I'll just stop it at the Yankees and the Blue Jays and Orioles or whatever. So now I'll throw in the chart. Sure, we got some people in here. I hear the Astros expanding scouts to Asia. Okamoto, the Astros, LOL. I mean, who knows? You can never rule it out, I guess. I don't know if they're actually in there. I don't know if you heard anything about that, but I know they probably are looking for more lefty bats than righty bats. I do know that. But Okamoto, I'm not really sure where he would play because you have Paredes, you have Walker. You'd probably have to deal someone to get him in there because Jordan's the DH unless they just do something different with that and have him in the outfield. But that wouldn't be my ideal choice there. So we'll see. I question if the Yankees should sign Bass and Julian to 1 year deals and consider the acquisition we could get back for Heel or Warren, example, Boz deal. Yeah, I've thought about that too, to be honest with you, because like they're obviously not signing a free agent pitcher. Like Jack was definitely right about that too. The great Jack Curry. He said that he thinks it's more likely if they get a starting pitcher, it's going to be a trade route. If you did this, it would allow you more freedom to trade one of them, and then maybe some other prospects. Now, I like both pitchers to a certain sense. Bassett, I actually like Bassett more because he can pitch out of the bullpen, and he pitched out of the bullpen great. I know he's older than Giolito, but I'm willing to take a 1 year flyer on Chris Bassett based off what I saw him do in October last year and the type of stuff he has. I know his velo's gone down, but his breaking stuff is still pretty good. So I would definitely be interested in that potentially. I think that would be a pretty. I mean, maybe it happens. I don't know. We'll have to see what they want to do. My personal gut feeling, Yankees will add Gore. I've thought about this a little bit. Mackenzie Gore for the Nationals. I think this actually might be correct because, like, I just don't know if they're going to match up for Peralta still, or if the Brewers actually pull the trigger. The Marlins stuff seems really complicated, and then there's not really much else out there right now at the moment that's known. So that's definitely very possible. I could see it happening potentially, but I'm not. It would cost a decent amount. It definitely would. You're probably looking at Dominguez or Jones, and then a pitching prospect or two that have, or rather, in high regard, I would say. Like probably at least three solid prospects would have to go to the Washington Nationals for Mackenzie Gore, with a fourth player being used as like a filler or a flyer, probably. So I think that I wouldn't rule that out because I've definitely heard that mentioned numerous times with the Yankees and Gore. Like a lot of allocate publications have picked that up. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing with Gore because the lefty heavy in the rotation is something I definitely do have pause with. So I definitely think like that's an interesting decision if they do it. But again, it does give better depth and like he does have really high upside even though he's lefty. The Phillies had like four lefties in the rotation last year, and that didn't end up working for them ultimately. But actually, it might have been three. My bad. It was three. It was Ranger, it was Sanchez, and then it was Lazardo. So they had three. So and actually no, it was four. Ranger Suarez. So I think that it's definitely something that's very interesting there. So we'll see. Yeah, Lazardo, Suarez, Sanchez, and yeah, it actually was three. I'm pretty sure, but now I don't know why I'm doubting that. Now I just gotta look. But it's not my favorite idea either. I understand that. I do. So it's not. But again, is it better than adding nothing? Probably. But if you go the internal route, I do like the guys in the system. This is not to dump on the guys in the system because I like Cruz, Elmer Cruz. I love Legrand. Does he become a bullpen arm? You never know. If they want to use him this year in that role, Ben Hess could be a fast riser maybe. And then you have another dude too. I think I'm just forgetting. I know Cunningham's in the lower levels, but he's highly regarded, and that's probably your depth. And then you have Salvage maybe who can make it to the bigs at some point, but it might be tough from Double A. Another guy I really liked that I mentioned with my buddy Smith Brickner is Harrison Cohen. I think he could get the call this year maybe, so that's definitely something I would think. Okay, Ari Alexander made that tweet about the Astros adding and then moving 3 to 4 scouts to Asia and Pacific Rim. Okay, I can pull that tweet up in a sec. Let me get it. Okay, it's his birthday today too. Interesting. Okay, I'm looking for it. Yeah, apparently he mentions it during the winter meetings, Ari Alexander. So the Imai Astros connection was longer than we thought. So that's interesting. Yep, I got the tweet now. I got it now. Okay, I can do it. 2 seconds here. So, also, thank you for checking in the first time. I don't know if you've ever seen any of my streams before, but I do try to adapt to all fan bases, and I do appreciate the support from Astros fans, from Pirates fans, whatever fan, Blue Jay, Dodgers, Red Sox, Yankees, Mets, all of it. So, I did get the tweet, and now I will share it. So, that is an interesting note. Thanks for telling me about that. So, let me add that right now. So as I'm getting it here, yep, here we go. A little more specifically, what I was told regarding Astros in Asia. They beefed up the Asia Pacific Rim scouting. Guys, I have to go take care. Thank you. I appreciate you coming in. Hey, thank you for checking in. I really appreciate it, bro. Means a lot to me. So, with the Astros, here we go. A little more specifically, what I was told regarding Astros in Asia. They beefed up the Asia Pacific Rim, adding or moving the 3 to 4 scouts. They are looking at Korean and Japanese amateurs more closely. They are targeting starting pitchers from Asia. Jim Crane has been pleased with the partnership with Talikin and thought having high Japanese players would post a positive marketing wise. Would be a positive marketing wise. Okay, so maybe there is a shot for Okamoto. That means maybe. Okay, and yes, bro, Jared, thank you for that. I don't know how I forgot Chase Hampton. I've interviewed Chase Hampton before. So, I knew there was a name I wasn't thinking of, so thank you. Yes, Chase Hampton's in the mix as well, absolutely. They added him to the 40 man. He's going to be healthy, so I'd love to see him get the opportunity as well. And I don't think they would trade him because they've gone through his rehab. They went through the effort to add him on the 40, so I think he's going to stick around. I think the same thing with Elmer Cruz because the Yankees don't really like to trade pitchers off their 40 man that much. They kind of like to trade more of like guys off the 40 that could be like Rule 5 eligible. But you never know. That could change, I guess. Obviously, there were some 40-man roster traded for Juan Soto, but that's a huge exception. Are there any Paredes rumors? I've heard like whispers about it, but nothing crazy. Like, no, I can't like pinpoint anything. One team I think would be interesting is maybe the Red Sox if they don't get back Bregman because he would kill it at the Green Monster. And I think I heard another team that may have had interest. I can't remember who it was. Gotta jog my memory. Maybe the Padres would try something like that. They could use some help at first. So I don't know if that was a specific thing or something I just thought of, but yeah. So I don't. I would say they said it's unlikely too. I think if they got blown away, they might do it. He also fits that ballpark really well. Like I think he's a great hitter for the Astros with the Crawford boxes. So I wouldn't be in a rush to trade him, but if you get Okamoto, then you probably would trade Paredes. I know they really want to trade Christian Walker. They just can't because that contract's untradeable. But if they had their choice, they would go for. They would definitely trade Christian Walker. Wonder if Yankees will make a move for Yanzi or Paredes, guys who can play first or third in a season right-handed hitter, gives Boone right-handed hitter corner infield options. I can't see the connection with Paredes because I can't see that connection because he would not hit well at Yankee Stadium because he pulls everything. Yanzi, I like that one. I'm definitely into that one. He would be a nice change of pace. Doesn't K that much. Has some pop. He'll put the bat in the ball. He'll keep the line moving. He could be a leadoff hitter. He'll take his walks. So I would like to see that one happen. I think it would be good. I mean, he has played third in the pinch with Rosario. They could also DH him when Stan inevitably gets hurt. You can make a case for Parade. I mean Diaz. The Rays would probably charge you a lot. Like you'd probably have to give up a good pitcher or two and a position player in your system. But I think he has 1 year left now. I've got to double check. No, I think it might be two. I've definitely done this before. But Yanzi, I think he would be a nice fit at Yankee Stadium. I really do. So that would be cool to see happen. But again, like you got to see how that's all gonna go. Yandy Diaz. Okay, so it's a 12, and then it's a conditional club for 12, basically. So that's kind of where I would sit with that right now, and I think there is definitely some value to be had since it's 2 years. It's definitely not going to be the easiest trade in the world to make, because the Rays said they would only do it if they were blown away, according to Francis Romero. So, I mean, look, I think it's definitely a cool thing, and I think like it would definitely be a good fit if it were to happen. I could definitely do his baseball savant page too. And yes, I didn't forget about the Bichette projections and the comparisons to Bellinger. It's just the show is taking me some different directions, so I'm kind of addressing all of it at once, or trying my best at least. So, and Jared's helping me behind the scenes, which is highly appreciated. So that'll be more of a thing going forward. All right, Yandy didn't go past exactly. Yandy Diaz. I want to see how well his baseball savant page looks amazing. The only thing he doesn't get the sweet spot that well. I don't know how everything else looks really good though. Home run count. We have 25, and then he would have had the same number. He would actually have 7 more at Yankee Stadium in his career. He does go the other way a little bit, so I think it would be a decent fit. Something in the private chat. Duran for Bubick, who says no. I've definitely mentioned that before. Yeah, Paredes would have had 9 less homers at Yankee Stadium last year. Like, I knew it would be bad, but that's awful. So, I don't think that would happen. Duran for Bubick, kinds of, I could see something with that. So, I know that the Red Sox are looking for another arm, and the Royals definitely need a guy like Duran, even though they got Collins and there's one other dude the Royals picked up. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I think it was Lane Thomas. There we go. So it was Lane Thomas and Isaac Collins. So that does help a little bit, but they definitely need something more. All right, so let's dive into Bichette. I'm really excited to do this. Let me get back to my main title here. And I think he would be a phenomenal fit despite defensive concerns. Okay, so with Bichette, he has like a different range of market prices, like we kind of talked about. I think if you can get him for 5 years, or even if you do like 4 with some opt outs and high AAV, maybe he would go for that. Would you consider giving him 35 million a year for 4 years, 4 for 140, like something crazy that he can't turn down? And with an opt, actually he wouldn't want an opt out at that point, I don't think. Although Bregman didn't want an opt out 40 AAV, so I guess he might. But I would say like maybe 6 for like 160 would be decent, or like 170, like 180 max. The 5 for 150 would be not a bad deal at all. I think that would be good for both sides as well. So Bichette, yeah, his defense is a mess. Minus 12 DRS is short, 13 OA negative, and a negative 10 FRV. So Bo is open to a position change as well, which I mentioned, and I think if he was a Yankee, I don't think he'd spend much time in short except for the beginning when Volpe was injured. And then you can mix and match and put him there like certain situations, but you'd have to pull him late for defense probably. But I don't know if they'd really want to do that if he's getting all that money. He's such a good hitter. I know the Jays didn't really pull him for defense that much, or here and there probably, but not obviously in the playoffs they pulled him because he couldn't run. So here's what he's projected to do. 17 bombs, 70 RBIs, 3.6 F4, which is like one more than Bellinger, 121 WRC plus, a little more than Bellinger, 6.4% walk rate. You would like to see that go up. 16% strikeout rate. You like that. 293 average, like that. 341 on base would be better if we could walk a little bit more. 455 slug, and then a 796 OPS. You'd probably sign for a season like that if you're going to pay him 25 million or 30 million a year. I think that works, and I don't see why he can't do this for multiple years. Like I said, he knows his division. He is only 27. He did it in the World Series, so you don't have to question if the lights are too bright for him, which I like. He might be a better October player than Bellinger, honestly. So I could make the case that it makes more sense for him to sign Bichette instead of Bellinger, and you could let Chisholm walk at the end of the year. I'm not rushing to get rid of Chisholm, but if you get Bichette and you balance up the lineup a little bit, it makes more sense. Now, could you somehow trade Jazz for like a haul of pitching that we're not seeing? I don't know, because he has 1 year left in his deal. He's probably going to test the market. So that might be a tough sell, even though he does have value, though, obviously. Don't get me wrong. So Bichette, he hit 313, he hit 311 last year, 18 homers, 94 RBIs, and he missed some time, too. Over his 7 year tenure with the Jays, he has a 294 average, 11 home runs, 437 RBIs, and 60 stolen bases, and he's a 2 time All Star. So Bellinger also has like 2 All Star appearances, I think, or 3, but let me just confirm Bellinger. But I think that Bo Bichette's the better investment. I really do. He's younger, and you might be able to get it around a similar number. It's a no-brainer to me because you could fill the outfields easier and you can get that righty bat you're looking for. There's not a lot of good righty bats out there right now. For some reason, the game is kind of shifting more towards the left-handers. So The righty bats are not as good as they used to be right now. Well, obviously Aaron Judge is a huge exception to that. One of the best right-handed hitters ever already. So yeah, Bellinger is a two-time All-Star. Yep, and the thing is, their defense will be a lot better with Bellinger than it would be with Bichette. That's the only thing. That's the only counter argument you can make. But Bichette still projected to provide more WAR. Okay, yeah, Astros do need a backup catcher. According to Sports Market, market value is 23.3 per. I think he'll get 27 million per year easy. Yeah, I agree. He'll probably will get around 27, maybe like a six for. I'm just spitballing here, like a six for 162. I think I did say 160 before. Boris's biggest client is Belly, right? Boris doesn't represent Bo, correct? Yes and yes, right about both things. So Bellinger is his remaining big fish. He also no, but he does have Valdez too, I think. And but hitting wise, yes. And I know he has Ranger Suarez, and I think Zach Gallen. Okay, Bo has a lengthy injury history as well, having 9 injuries since the start of 2024. Yeah, that's concerning. No question about it. That would give you some pause, and maybe that's why he might not be able to get a 6 year deal. He might have to take like a 4 or 5 with some options. Last year he battled through a lot. I actually gained a lot of respect for Bo Bichette. He wasn't even 100% healthy. He still hit a home in a World Series. He was still hitting really well. He could barely even run. He was still battling through like he did everything he could to get himself ready, despite having a brutal knee injury that happened to an unfortunate play to play with Austin Wells. So I respect his game, his attitude. He's very soft spoken. He's humble. He goes about his business quietly, and I think it's a guy that would be tremendous with the Yankees. So let's close down now with Okamoto. Okamoto is definitely gonna be gone, I think, by Saturday because it'll be the day before, like we saw with Imai and like we saw with Murakami. So like I can't say the Pirates just ever get Okamoto. I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to do that because I don't know fully yet, and I don't want to get their hopes up or anything because this whole process has been very strange and weird. All the Japanese players teams are also operating under the unknown, probably missing a 27 season unknown or what the cap could look if they give them short term time to enter the cap. That too, yes, that's very important, Nick. I definitely think that's a valid point. I think someone else in the chat brought up the lockout before too, and unfortunately, it's definitely impacting some stuff this offseason. I think kind of has to because you don't know how it's going to look after this. So that's why it might make sense just to go all in this year, and then if you have to tear it up, you tear it up after the lockout. But we'll have to see what they want to do. If they got Bichette, that would change a lot of things. If you got Bellinger, it's basically the same. So that's another reason why I like it. I want to change. I want to see them change things. So because like the team was not good enough last year, and I don't think that they did enough to really change my mind on that right now. Let me see if I got anything else on Twitter that didn't make it through. I do want to thank everyone that's popped in. Thanks to everyone that's been following along, hitting the channel with subs. I also appreciate that. So, Okamoto, like I've mentioned before, he's played in WBC. He was with the Yomiuri Giants. It was Matsui's team. So it would have been cool if the Yankees were involved. Obviously, they're not going to even get anywhere near that, I don't think. But I am looking forward to seeing where he goes, and it would be cool to see the Pirates get him and add that third bat. The Padres are kind of lurking, maybe. And then I did hear Angels and Giants and A's too. I don't know how likely those are, but I think they're trying. And then I know the Red Sox have been floated. Even the Diamondbacks, I think, got floated, which is interesting to me. But I guess they kind of need a first baseman, so that does make some sense. And I think they could probably use some help at third because there's no more Suarez over there, obviously. But they do have Waller, and Perdomo's a great shortstop. But I can't wait to see what's going to happen with Okamoto. I am excited to put the big three Japanese guys in the rear view now, and now we'll move forward to see what else happens if that helps the rest in the market somewhere. Like I guess Eugenio Suarez, a guy that's going to end up being signed quicker after that happens because he's kind of the fallback after him, maybe. Okamoto is going to, he also has a little outfield experience. He is, I think he's 29. Yes, 29. He's a right-handed bat, very good right-handed bat. He did pop 41 home runs in 2023, so he has done it before. He has a 33 homer season, 31 homer, 39, 30. So like he might be able to get you 25 ish in the bigs. I would say maybe 30 if all things go well, like in his best years. But let me see. I think I got another question. Hold on. Last time I joined a live, news broke for King to the Padres. We breaking news tonight, Julian. Um, I don't know. I feel like the Imai was the only news of the day, but I guess you never know, right? I mean, let me know quick if you see anything, because I'm trying to wind down just because it's an hour and it's like New Year's Day. But it's definitely a fun and productive one. And Okamoto, like I'm trying to look at a few other things that could get some people excited for him. Maybe he does have a 274 lifetime and an OPS 856 lifetime on base 355. He doesn't K that much either. There's only like 4 seasons with over 100. I think 5 with over 100 Ks. So like it's not as bad as Murakami with the strikeouts. It's definitely a lot less. Okay, he's projected 251, 324, 441, 1.6 F4, 110 WRC plus. That's Okamoto. Okay, I mean that's kind of worth $15, 50 million, I guess. Like that could work. I'm trying to. I'm assuming you're gonna put the homers in there too, probably, to see what he would get, or like RBIs. But let me take a look really quick to see like how I feel about this. Like I could check Twitter to see if there's any new rumors about him. Let's see. Yeah, Pirates are still in the lead as of a day ago. That's what they're saying. Trying to think here. Yeah, they're saying Yuma Moncada could be a pivot option. Um, I see stuff saying he's already with the Pirates in Japan. I don't know about that much yet. So, yeah, the Padres are definitely in there, like we said. And Heyman said the Angels aren't going to be as aggressive. That's what the report was for Okamoto. So I don't know if that bodes well for them because it's probably going to take some aggression to get Okamoto because there's going to be a few teams involved. 18 homers and 55 RBIs are projected. So, Jared, thank you. That was awesome. I think this was a very good intro for us. I'm excited to see how this progresses. And unless anything else happens, or there's any final questions, I think I'm about to sign off. I'd see Jared's typing, so I'll probably wait to see what he has to say. I could throw my handles up in the meantime. He also developed really well in the MPB. If you look through the years, his K percent he adjusted well throughout the years. Yeah, that's true. Cause like I did notice it kind of went down like after I saw the high strikeout numbers. So he's definitely a guy that's willing to put in the work and not just stick to one approach, which will definitely help him in the MLB. And I think that's a good floor for him. The 18 bombs, 55 RBIs. Maybe I could see like 20, 25 if all goes well next year. Maybe like 70, 75 RBIs. Maybe even 80, the best case scenario. Maybe he puts up like 2 or 2.5 WAR because he's also better than Murakami defensively. So that's another thing he has in his favor. So, all right, let me throw my tags up and then we'll get the first one of 2026 in the books. We will be back on Saturday, most likely. I'm assuming that's when the news will drop for Okamoto. And okay, so X, you get me, Julian Guardy one. That's where I'm at right now. A lot of people watching there. Sub to my channel on YouTube. It's Julian Gallardi, Julian Gallardi Show. You search my name, you find it. Same thing on TikTok. Also on Facebook a little bit, but little issues there. But it's still linked to my Instagram, so there will be posts on there. And then Instagram is Julian Gallardi 11. So thank you again, everyone. I really do appreciate it. It was definitely a fun New Year's Day live. Let me see what this will. I think I got one more. Well, first of all, thank you, Nick, and likewise, bro. You've been good this all season, so I want to see how we can handle the rest of the off season and trade deadline and whatever. Okay, you think Tashaki or whatever his name is goes back to NBB? I thought about him too, actually. I don't know. I mean, I could see someone taking the flyer on him for a little bit of money, maybe. I don't think the Yankees would probably, but that seems like a good Tigers fit for some reason. They seem to be doing stuff like that. But Heyman did say the Tigers are looking might add a starting pitcher. I think they should because they got to maximize Schoolball's window. They need a guy to go in and be the two. That's better than Casey Mize or Jack Flaherty or Jackson Jobe coming back from Tommy John. Reese Olson with various injuries. So I don't know. I'll definitely. I think his deadline's the 4th too, right? I saw someone put it out there. Let me check really quick because I did need to bring him up. So thank you, Nick. Let me try to look at that because I think I did some highlights on him a while ago. Oh, there are rumors he might go back. Actually, it's going to Takahashi. That's what they're saying. He might go back. So let me see why it's saying that he might go back. They said his closing window is closing on Sunday at 5 p.m., so it's the same deadline as Okamoto. And according to the source, he has at least one major league offer on the table. However, that may not be enough to get him to leave for the bigs. He could return on a new multi-year deal with Cebu with an opt-out clause that will allow him to return to the open market next year as an unrestricted free agent. So he had a good ERA in 23 and 22. It was a 2.2. Then he had a 3.87, and then he had a 3.04 last year. So he's going the wrong way, which is not what you want. And he's not going to strike out that many guys. And he relies a lot on command. So that's definitely a problem. Think of him as almost like a Sugano, maybe, and that really didn't go so great for Baltimore. So I could see why he's having some trouble. So, yeah. Why do you think the Yankees refuse to get involved with external frontline position players as opposed to pitchers and free agency in general? That's a great question, and I did bring this up, I think, in the show, and I've been thinking about this a lot because you go through it. Thank you for the question, Jordan. It came out today that he has at least one MLB offer, but could go back. Yeah. So, I don't know. I've thought about that as well because, like, they have done it with all the pitching. So, do you wonder why they aren't doing it with the bats? Are they afraid of bust potential after the Ellsbury fiasco? DJ, well, that's their own bat, DJ. That was a while ago, but like McCann and Beltran were kind of just okay, but they were older too. Like I don't know, and they need to address it because like the offense in October is still not good enough, and like they'd still decide just to keep running back the same team for the large part. Although they have done trades for Bellinger and Soto, obviously, so that's a huge exception. But again, like maybe they're trying to save their long-term money for something. Like I don't know. But I do agree that there needs to be more investing into free agent hitters. Like that's why Bo Bichette makes sense, and that would be a good frontline investment right there. And it's someone that's off the team, that's not just on the team. So it's really tough for me to say why, but I think it's something they need to address. Like I really don't fully know. Okay, so his steamer projections for Takahashi were 4.93 ERA, 13.4 K, 7.6 BB percentage. Well, yeah. Well, Sonny Gray was a trade, but I get it. Yeah, like yeah. There's been yeah. I mean, there's been some rough ones, obviously. So that was the last time they really spent for a free agent hitter at the top of the market that wasn't on their own team was Ellsbury, and that did not go well. I mean, Teixeira was great for the time being when you helped him win the World Series, and in the short term, didn't age well. But overall, you take it because he helped them win a World Series. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely something that has been interesting, and I've thought about that as well. So, all right, guys, thank you. Happy New Year, fam. Like I said, looking forward to coming back on Saturday. Shout out to Jared. It's like I said, Scat Pack on Twitter. I'll probably throw his. I'll probably, you know what? I'll throw his handle in here quick before we go. And then like I'll try to get some people to follow him. So this is him here. He's very interested in working in baseball and really likes stats. So I decided he can help me behind the scenes over the holiday, and I think it's definitely going to be interesting for sure. But all right, so I'll send it in the chat really quick. just so people could see it. And then, hold on, it's coming. And then I will also announce that like I am working on getting some of these into audio formats and like making it more podcasty. Just a long thing to do. All right, so that's him, Scat Pack, right there. Let me get myself out so everyone can see it quick. Okay, well I can't talk if I'm behind stage, but anyway, that's him. Shoot him a follow on Twitter. I'll probably maybe I'll tag him in like the episode or something, or like underneath, or do a quote tweet and thank him for like helping for the first one. Now we'll see if we can do some more on-air stuff with Jared, like on Saturday. The only thing is if Okamoto signs Friday, I'm gonna be solo because it's his birthday. So happy early birthday, and thanks, dude. I think this is pretty beneficial. I like the work we did today. I thought the info you added was good. Kind of saved me a few steps. So, thanks, dude. Let's